Welcome, income hackers. This is your host, Ryan G. Wright. This podcast is for individuals and families who are interested in fast tracking their financial success. You'll hear experts discussing topics like generating a residual cash flow, building wealth through real estate, financial literacy, creating a family legacy, and overcoming your fears. If you get value out of this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's a big help to me. How to find a good contractor. What you're going to learn today is one of the most requested topics that I get. It's about finding contractors, screening contractors, and managing contractors. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, so first, the very first step is finding contractors. You've got to go find them. And here are some of my favorite ways to find contractors. Number one way is referrals. If you can get a referral from somebody, you're going to have such a better experience. But not just any referral. If you can get a referral from a real estate investor, that's golden. Just this last couple of weeks ago, I got a referral from a real estate investor with a contractor we liked. I had him look at some stuff. It's fantastic. The best way you can possibly get it. Now, a lot of people don't want to give you their best contractor. So they may give you a subcontractor, maybe a carpet guy. They may not just give you their main guy, but at least that gets you further. So one of my buddies, he won't give me any of his contractors, but he gave me his concrete guy. He gave me his flooring guy, because those guys are not going to be used all the time. So them getting extra business doesn't hurt him. Whereas if I take his main contractor, he could be slowed up on other jobs, so he won't release that. That makes a lot of sense. But if somebody's not doing that much volume, they may be interested. So I found a great contractor this way. This is one of my other favorite ways, and this is so overlooked. In most cities, there's what's called an apartment or a rental association. This is a group of landlords that get together because they want to make sure that laws and things aren't passed, and so they have some help with legislation to help with landlords. Typically, because they're usually a nonprofit, what they will do is they'll allow sponsors. And lots of times you'll have plumbing or HVAC sponsors. But the key to this is these sponsors know their landlords. And so they've already lowered their prices, and they know they're going to get repeat business from them, so they can do things at a less expensive because they won't have the cost of marketing and otherwise. And so I highly recommend that you go and you find your apartment association, your renter association, your landlord association, and you find their vendor list of people that are sponsors. My very best contractor I've had for like 15 years, this is how I found him, was from the apartment association and making some phone calls to that list, looking for a good contractor, handyman, that type of stuff. So those lists can be very invaluable. You still have to do the work. You still have to screen them. I'm going to go through details on all that, but it's a great way to find contractors. The other thing, and this is so overlooked, every time you drive by and you see construction, stop, talk to the people that are doing the work and say, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I have lots of jobs. I've got some stuff coming. Are you looking for any more work? And then you always want to ask for a referral. If they're like, no, we're so busy, we're slammed, we got nothing. Usually that's not going to be the case. Usually they're going to say, yeah, I'd love to talk to you. Here's my card. Here's this. Usually what you're going to want to, if they do say, no, I'm too busy, the next question is, who do you know that would be good for me to talk to? And lots of times they will come out and let you know and say, here's somebody else you should chat with. This is one of the best ways as well as you drive by. Let's see here. Jared says, Lawrence, worth the cost. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Making a deal happen versus not making a deal happen, it's an opportunity cost for sure, but appreciate it. Robert, any funders in Chicago? Yeah, Robert, you're talking to one. If you're talking about funding on deals, we fund on deals in Chicago all the time. So let us know. Happy to chat with you. REI clubs, looking for sponsors. So I'm not a huge fan of REI clubs. They're usually a big sales pitch, but you can typically find on their websites without having to attend and see who are sponsors for them as well. Real estate investor clubs, you're looking for sponsors. You're looking for contractors and those things that are sponsors in those. It's a great way that you can actually find. One of my other favorites is Home Depot. So what you may not realize, if you go to a Home Depot, there are two different desks. There's a regular desk where people go, and there's a contractor desk. And if you go through the contractor entrance and you go to the contractor desk, you can ask the guys there saying, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking for some guys that are contractors. Do you have anybody you can refer over to me? Because contractors actually get better pricing at Home Depot than you would get if you went and bought the same thing. So they get a discount because of volume. They're trying to cater to the contractors, okay? So with that, then you can actually go and ask them for some referrals. So that's one of the great ways that you can do it. The other thing you can do is you can hang out in the parking lot, and I've done this more than once, and I am looking for signs, right? So basically, if they have a sign on the car, side of the truck that says, handyman, or they say, contractor, or whatever the case is, you hang out in the parking lot, you look for trucks that have signs, you make phone calls to those people. Now, if you're going to do that, you don't want to be, if you're going to do that, you don't want to be looking for the most expensive trucks. You want to be looking for a beat up truck that has a magnet sign. That's the type of stuff you're looking for. If they drive a nice $100,000 truck, it's not the guy you want to be working with. Okay. So that's a big thing that you want to be looking out for. So let's see here. I'm a fund provider. Awesome. Let's see. That's awesome. I want to get started. Fantastic. I love this. Free classified ads. So in my area, there's a newspaper that has a free online classifieds. This is where contractors can go and say, hey, I do work like this. They can post their services. And here's the key. They can post their services for free. If there are a bunch of paid ads, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute, that's not what you want. You are not looking for what I call yellow page ads. And I know the yellow pages aren't really a thing anymore, but they were for a long time. And people would have to spend hundreds or thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars to have a huge yellow page ad. If that's the case, that's not who you want, because they spend so much money. If they're spending tons of money and they have a huge newspaper ad. Now, if it's a little classified, maybe they spent $50 for, not a problem. Who you are looking for. You're looking for somebody that's on the job. You don't want the handyman. You don't want the general contractor that's not going to get his hands dirty. You want the general contractor that's going to be on the job all the time. You also want somebody that's going to have some helpers, but you're going to want to make sure they're actually doing part of the work themselves. So that's kind of some ways to find them. So now we got to screen them, and we're going to have to find multiple ones in order to screen some, because lots of them we screen just aren't going to work out. So now, how do you screen these guys? Let's say you found 4 or 5 different contractors. How do we screen them to make sure they're the right ones? Because that's a huge mistake a lot of people make, is they find one contractor and they just give them the job, and they don't compare pricing, and they don't document everything, and they end up in a disaster, which is what I don't want to happen to you. So screening these contractors, okay? Walk through your project with them and ask lots of questions. Some people say, how do I know what questions to ask? It doesn't matter. You want to just ask questions to understand things. Ask questions along the way and see how they answer the questions, right? That's going to be the big thing, okay? How would you handle this? What is the most effective way to do this? These are open-ended questions so you can understand. Get a feel for what they say and how they answer the question. Okay, so you want to just get an idea of what they can say. Then the other thing you want to do is get references, and this is where everybody messes up. And getting references. They don't get references. Somebody says, yeah, I can do the job for you. They're so excited they found somebody. They never ask for references. If you put the time up front to make the relationship, get the references, make sure they do a good job, it will save you tens of thousands of dollars in problems and headaches and aspirins later. And you can use that same person for time to come. Robert says, so do we pick your own contractor, or do you guys find that person? No, you pick your own contractor. We don't get involved with that contractor, but we do have project managers that will verify and look at stuff and meet with them and give you input so that we can make sure the project's going to be good. But you get to pick your own contractor. And so we have some forms, some tools, some help, and that type of stuff. Anyone that has done contractor work for more than a day should be able to get you some references. Hey, I need some references so I can call them That's what you're going to need to do to make sure you're getting a good contractor. You want to call the references. And the other thing you want to do is not just call them, but you want to go see their work. I was interviewing some contractors. I went and saw their work. It was crappy work from my perspective. And I said, I am not going to let them do work for my job. And it was easy for me to say, this isn't the guy for me. And I was able to hire somebody else. Ask them if they're related to the contractor in any way. So when you call, you say, hey, are you related to this guy? Do you know him? Are you like high school friends? If you get real with them, they'll typically get real with you because you don't want to get their mom's phone number and their mom's just saying whatever they can to try and get a job for them because their mom wants to get them out of the basement. So that's the type of stuff you're looking for. But if you go see the projects the contractor is currently working on or has worked on, it makes a big difference. I was interviewing another general contractor. I said, hey, I want some references. And he's like, sure, here's some numbers. I went to the guy's property that he built. It was a new construction. And the owner was raving about him. He's like, hey, he was fantastic. He did what he said. He open communication. That's the type of thing that you want to know because if they've done this before, if they've done other construction work, you should be able to call them. And if they're not getting good reviews from their prior work, there's a problem here. And you need to go back to the finding to find more contractors because that one's not going to pass the screening. Contractors work. I want to go see the job you're currently on. I want to see the job site. Even if you don't know construction, walk around and take notes as if you do so that you can see the quality of the workmanship and jot those things down. A good contractor should have a waiting time. If you call somebody and they're like, I can be on the job this afternoon, as long as it's not like a plumbing emergency or something like that. But if you're saying, I need a contractor to remodel this property, and he's like, oh, I'll be there tomorrow afternoon and I'll get the whole thing done for you. That's usually a problem. You usually have to have a wait a week or two. They're usually on a job, and then when they finish that job, then they can get on to your job. So that's the type of thing that you're wanting to look for. If someone can get your job right away, that's a problem. The other thing I like to do is verify licenses. Most people never do this. If you verify the licenses, it's usually easy in most states. You can do a license lookup and make sure the licenses are active. And if they don't require a license in some areas, you want to make sure they at least have a business license. That means they're serious about doing this. The other thing, and this is a really easy one, is ask for a copy of their insurance. Insurance like this for builder's risk or not that expensive. It's a few $100s. And if they don't carry that, they're probably not serious about it. And that will also help you if somebody has a slip and fall or something on your property or gets injured. So I like to get a copy of their insurance. It's very inexpensive, and it tells me that they're serious about being a licensed general contractor. That's another way that I screen these guys to make sure I've got the right. Now, I got to find a bunch of them because when I screen them, I'm only going to get it down to a few. And it's going to take several prospected customers to find that good one. And you won't really know until after you hire them, until after you do all the rehab work, that you actually know if they're a good contractor or not. I like to always get 2 or 3 bids for the same work. I always like to get 2 or 3 bids. Even with my experienced guys, I still like to get 2 bids because I like to make sure they know I'm checking against them and I'm getting other pricing to keep them honest. As soon as they know they're a foot in for the job, you're going to see prices that are going to go up. All right, this does take some time, but you learn through the process. And again, this is hardest at first. Once you go through and find a bunch and you screen them and you're down to a couple, then you just have to call two guys and say 2 or 3 saying, hey, come out, take a look at this property, give me some pricing, that type of stuff. You get them trained. It's a lot up front, but it pays off as it goes on. And once you get the relationship, you won't always need to do this, but it's good to keep your contractors honest. It is worth it. One of the things to keep in mind is sometimes general contractors right now may be too busy, so you may need to pay them to come and give a bid. It's a hot market for contractors, so you may need to pay $100. And if they ask for that, I don't know if I'd necessarily offer that, but if you're having a hard time, you may want to start offering that. But $100 for them to come and give a bid is not an unreasonable expectation. And I can assure you, if you do it right, you will learn more than the $100 worth of the cost if you do it right. How to manage contractors. So we've gone through this. We found some contractors. We screened some contractors. We found a couple that meet the criteria that we think. Now the problem is we have to manage these contractors to get the work done on time and on budget. So how do we do this? The next step comes down to scope and materials. And I'll tell you right now, the number one problem, if you most people hire the cheapest contractor, they never talk about the scope, they never get any references, they don't do anything we talk about, and then they find themselves in a problem. If you find a bunch of contractors, screen those contractors, the next thing is scope and material, because you want to make sure when you say you're going to do this for this price, you're talking about the same thing, because they can install crappy cabinets for $5,000 or $2,000, and you could have thought they were installing shaker cabinets that were going to cost $25,000, and you guys are not on the same page because materials just isn't there. So I'd like to walk my property with my contractor. I walk through the entire thing. I record the entire conversation, and this isn't to try and trip him up. It's so I can go back and document it all. So how much for this? How much for this? How much for this? And then I document it. And what I'm documenting is the scope. What are we agreeing is going to get done? And then I like to talk about allowances. How much of that is a carpet allowance? How much of that is a tile allowance? Because I don't want him to go choose the tile. I'm going to choose the paint colors. I'm going to choose the tile. I'm going to choose the carpet. And this is really important because when I go shop for tile, I want to shop for what is available now, because time is money. And if it's not available now, I don't want to use it. I want to use stuff that they have available right now. And if I don't like something, I may pay more for it, but I know I got to pay the difference. So you want an itemized bid. And then you itemize the scope, you itemize the bid, you send it to the general contractor, you have a phone conversation, you go through all of those numbers, you make sure everything is line by line. That is a key. Give yourself a 10% slush fund for any unknown items because if something comes up. Because keep in mind, if your contractor can't see it, he can't give you a bid on it. So if there's some unknown problem, and so it makes sense to have some money based upon that. This is our contractor's estimate. This is really important. And I always fill this out and then send it to the contractor to sign. It's got his information, the property, the quality of finishes. We're establishing that. I've got his errors and omissions insurance right here, his phone number. We upfront say this is how many days it's going to take to complete it. This is how many days of rehab. This is saying, hey, we went through and we looked at all these different things, didn't see anything. And then this is line by line. This is the cost, the scope. This is what I think it's going to cost. Then we agree upon a price. They sign it. I go item by item by item by item. And this is so important because then and you guys are going to get a copy of this. Then when it comes time to doing a draw, he does a draw for item number 49. And item number, the kitchen sink. Is the kitchen sink in or it's not? If it's not in, he doesn't get paid that. If it's in, he gets paid that. Now, if it's not all 100% in, he doesn't get paid. He only gets paid once the work is 100% complete, materials, labor, everything's in there. And then we bring it all the way down and then he signs it. We have all the disclaimers. We have project managers here, so that wouldn't apply if you weren't using project managers like we do. This talks about required permits, it has a final cost on this, special conditions, everything. If you walk through a property with this, even if you don't even have a contractor yet, if you take this and walk through a property, you're going to have a really good feel for the scope of what needs to be done. And like I said, that's the number one problem. If you've got a good contractor, your next biggest problem is you guys aren't on the same page with the scope. So you got to be on the same page with the scope. Once you understand the scope, then you got to talk pricing, and then you got to document the pricing. And then the next problem is draws. You need to make sure each draw is in line with the required item that it's supposed to be, that it's installed to the property, that the money went to the right property. Completion date. My rule of thumb for completion date is $1,000 per day plus 10 days for permits or problems. Meaning if it's a $50,000 job, they have 60 days to finish that work. And then what I do, and this is huge, I take $100 per day from the bid if they're late. But if they get done early, I give them $50 per day as a bonus for getting done early. This can be a great motivator and a detractor so that they can say, hey, I'm paying hard money, and hard money is expensive, and I'm paying taxes, and I'm paying insurance, and I'm paying all these things. So each day you go by, and you can adjust this. It doesn't have to be $100 a day. If it's a higher-end property, it may be $200 a day. Look and see how much that is, and however much it's saving you. If it's $100 a day, say, hey, I'll give you $100 a day, but double it, and it's $200 a day if you take longer, because you need to get compensated for that because it takes a lot. Okay, inspections. You need to go to the site as much as possible, okay? This is one of the problems. A lot of people hire a contractor and walk away from it. That's the wrong thing to do. At a minimum, you need to be at the property once a week. You can solve so many problems by going by the property. You can see the progress. You can catch problems early, all those things. It can save you time. It can save you money by getting by the property on a regular basis. I typically give 10% upfront, but no more. If it's a $50,000 job, I'll give them $5,000, nothing more than that. Everything else is done on a line-by-line basis. It must be 100% finished, not just purchased, permanently affixed, installed, 100% done with no questions. Meaning, if they install the kitchen sink, but they don't put the faucet on there, it doesn't matter. You don't get money for the kitchen sink. If the kitchen sink and faucet all needs to be on there. There is no partial dones. It's 100% done or it's not done. 99% does not count. It has to be 100%. If the faucet's there but it leaks, you do not get paid. If the faucet's there, it leaks, it's all done, then you're in good shape. If the contractor cannot do that, I'll put materials on my credit card and then I'll have them delivered to the job site is what I will do because I don't want the contractor to get his hands on money. That's the biggest thing. And you don't want your materials going into somebody else's job. Organization. Contractors are notorious for being late. I found that if I make arrangements for cabinets, carpet, I make better deadlines because they'll forget about it. So I call the carpet company, the tile, that type of stuff. I arrange that all myself because I don't want to get the contractor involved because they're notorious. I choose materials that are based on what's in stock so I don't have to wait for any delivery times, which is huge because, guys, time is money. Each day that goes by is costing you hard money in taxes, insurance. We talked about the utilities. Every day is really expensive. So we went over how to find contractors, how to screen contractors, how to make sure it gets done on time and on budget. If you got value out of our discussion today, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's a big help to me. Also, please share with a friend. Nothing is more valuable than creating financial friends who are like-minded. You can do that by inviting them to listen to the Income Hacker podcast. Bye for now, and make it a very profitable day.
Income Hacker may receive payment on the show from sponsors and guests in the form of books, giveaway items, discounts, or other remunerations. This show is for entertainment purposes only, and before making any financial moves, consult with a professional who can intimately understand your personal situation.